Apocalypse Gaming.
Hey there folks, hope everyone's well. So what you see here is Dropzone Commander's just released starter box set. Been very excited about this game since day one, since it first came out, and I have been very lucky, our family's been very lucky, because me mum and dad has gone and bought us it as a wee gift. So awesome stuff. So because of that, I'm going to give you a wee unboxing of the contents. First thing though is, look at that box art. That is stunning. It's so thematic of the game. I can't remember a piece of artwork on a starter box set that so well sums up what the game's about. It's just all there in the actual artwork. The box itself is bloody heavy. It's possibly the heaviest starter set that I've ever picked up. It surprised me in the shop when I picked it up and went, geez, oh. It's a flip lid. I've not actually been through the contents myself yet because it's so well packed and so much stuff in there that if I tried to unpack this and look at it, I reckon I wouldn't have got it back in and we couldn't have got a decent unboxing. So we're going to discover it as we go through it together ourselves. First off, what have we got here? Well, nice bit of bubble wrap round some of the Hawk flight bases with the Hawk widgets. If you don't know what the Hawk widget is, it's designed to attach to the bottom of your dropship so that your flight stand goes in with a pressure fit and then comes off easily for transportation. We have troop bases. If you don't know the game, it's a 15mm game. And lovely plastic sprues. I'll go through these sprues actually in detail, just show you the actual contents. So that's the UCM, which is the human ones. That's the Scourge, who are the invaders, who have taken control of the central core planets, including Earth. It's 150 years later, humanity's fighting back. Lovely sealed, very thick rulebook. And that'll be the cityscape as well, because your terrain is in here as well, so that'll be the cityscape at the back of that. It's the latest addition to the rules at 1.1. No, it's not the cityscape, because that's there. I don't know what that is, we'll find out as I burst it open. Here we have the terrain. It's fold out card, so as you can see, you'll fold it, close it over, and then that lets us have our terrain to play the game, which is awesome. So lots and lots of terrain there. Let's just sit all the terrain aside and we'll go through everything separate, as I say. So just putting that back out the way. And we have our dice. And we even have a tape measure. It's not a red whippy stick, it's a proper tape measure. And spare Hawk widgets by the looks of it. Tape measures. Obviously not the greatest quality, it doesn't have much standout, but hey, it's a tape measure, it's in the box, it's there, it's ready to play, it's got cool Hawk Wargame branding on it as well. What's the dice like? Because I'm fussy with my dice. Do they roll nice? Do they not roll nice? Decent weighty dice. So we'll go through it, we'll look at all the individual contents now of the different sprues and give you an idea of what they're like, but very excited to be getting this game on the table as well. So the first thing I'd like to take a look at is the UCM's sprues. So I'll just quickly scan across. They're dropship parts, and there's tank tops. Even the little men, remember these are 15mm scale. Tons of detail on there for the scale that we're playing at. There's the tracks of my tanks. I couldn't tell you the name of any of these vehicles at the minute, I apologise for that. I'll get to know them as I get to play with it. But it's crazy the amount of detail that's still on these. As you can see the lines even running along there. There's my finger, if you want to try and get a reference to the sort of scale we're talking. So let me just flip that round and we can look at the other side of this sprue. So then we'll do the reverse. So even into the wheels, tons of detail. Look at the grooves running along there. There's my finger. So I'll get 3 identical sprues like this for the UCM. I have vague recollection hearing Dave from Hawk Wargames saying that that allows you to build something extra above and beyond what you need for your starting force, but I can't remember what that is, so we'll discover that as a build as well. So let's flip this now and look at the opposite side of these. And the detail that's on them for 15mm is quite astounding. I mean, I'm trying to look at this through the camera as we do that, but as far as I can see, because I can't really bend round the camera, that looks like there's rivets on the actual wheel. That's quite scary. We can see the troopers. Fellowes rocket launcher. That'll be the underside of the tanks. More of my dropship. And that's the hull of the dropship. And that's crazy detail for 15mm. Quite crazy. Totally blown away. Totally blown away. I've not saw this in the resins, so I can't, well, I have saw it in the resins, but I've not saw it well enough in the resins to compare how much detail this has in comparison to the resins, but I don't think you'll be losing anything here on the plastics, because what they've managed to achieve really is very nice. Very, very nice. Everything's numbered as well, so when we come to the instructions, hopefully that means it helps us put everything together easy. Even the turret, if you can see, it's even detailing down in there on gratings. If I remember right, that gun's supposed to be pretty much a pea shooter and is useless in games terms, but looks good. This is the reason that I wanted this army. It so reminds me of Aliens. This particular APC really reminds me of Aliens, but just the whole thematic of the army reminds me very much of Aliens. So hopefully that's gave you a good idea of what's on that sprue. I think I've covered everything that's on it, yep. So we'll move on and we'll look at one of the other sprues for the Scourge. Again, when it comes to the Scourge, there's 3 sprues. I don't know if this one also then means that you end up with something extra that you don't necessarily need for your army list, but I'm sure I heard on an interview from Dave Hawk that there's something extra on here. So there's your little 15mm Scourge troopers, or your infected humans with the Scourge in them, because the Scourge seem to take over the actual life forms that they come across, and that's their hosts. I mean, look at the detailing on that. That I can see through the camera. That's ridiculous. Remember, finger, 15mm. Well done. Well done indeed, guys. If these are losing anything in detail in comparison to the resin, human eye probably can't pick it up. Human eye is very good at picking up changes in detail and changes and things like that, but if these are losing it, I very doubt that it will pick it up easily. And there we go again, look at that, that's quite stunning. So there was a bit of a fight in the house over who was going to get these. Hellboys ended up the one that's going to do them, and PHR is going to be the wife's faction. Look at that, that's ridiculous. ridiculously well detailed. So if you haven't been into Dropzone, it's 60 quid, 54 quid at quite a few of the retailers by the time you get your 10% discount that many do for the entire starter box, which I think is ridiculous value for money. You've got all your terrain, you've got your rule book, you've got your dice, you've got your tape measure, and as I said, one of the reasons that people have been scared to get into this is cost. That's us back to the start, so we'll flip the sprue over and see the reverse. Because in the resins, the factions are looking cost prohibitive for what you get. Value for money on the plastics, that's quite spectacular. Hopefully this isn't the end of the plastics, hopefully it's not just the starter set, but maybe we'll see in future a conversion and a retooling so that they can make more and more in the plastics, because if they can keep this level of detail up, his game could massively explode, I think, with people taking it up. If he can get plastics coming out at the sort of price he's done this set at, it'll go far. I think it'll go far, because it's a beautiful looking game. It's nicely done at the scale he's got it at. And right now this part of the sprue. I find it hard for anyone not to be impressed by the level of detail he's managed to get on here. Cool. So say 3 of these sprues and 3 of the other sprues, and that builds our factions. So in total in the box there are 10 different buildings of different sizes, different heights and depths. I'm not going to show each one on the video, I'll just give you a photograph of them. But as we can see, they are card stock. It's a reasonably thick, reasonably heavy card stock. The idea behind this is you can build your scenery, take it up, put it back down for flat packing. Looking at it, I would be a bit scared to continually do that. I can see issues where it's going to end up dying on you basically, so I think we'll go along the lines of we'll build this permanently. But as you can see hopefully on the camera, it is a reasonably thick, stiff cardstock, so if you wanted to do that, by all means go ahead, but I think over time that your buildings will be damaged doing it that way, so we need to find a place to store it, but we're going to go and do that. So the first thing I really should do is show you how the buildings go together. What I would suggest is you take and you fold that section first back on itself, because this is going to be recessed down slightly by a few millimeters. Then take your edges of the card, fold them for the roof section, get them set up, tuck them down into the building, and once we've got that down and in place, you can see the lip there, we're going to have the same on each edge here too. At a minimum, I would suggest either sticky taping those flaps in place or maybe gluing them. We'll be going the full hog I think and gluing them. You can just see the recesses, so you would want that tacked down just so it gives a nice aesthetic. Or maybe you wouldn't, but I would. But that's the idea of one of the buildings, and as I say, there's 10 different buildings. I'll go ahead, we'll get them all fully constructed and we can look at them that way, so it's a bit cleaner to see them. Right then, let's take a look at what's in this pack. I can see the rule book, but let's see what the rest of this stuff is. rulebook. We have counters. If I remember right, all firing arcs are taken through this one template here. Various other counters, landing zones. Quick reference sheet for the UCM, very useful. Double-sided quick reference sheet for the UCM. Very, very useful. I'm guessing that will have just about everything we need on it. Scourge quick reference. Again, that's probably get absolutely everything we need. Turn sequence quick reference. Instructions. Nice set of instructions. So that's showing us how to build our different vehicles and how to build the buildings. I had forgotten that this is in it. You also have a game mat, which the camera is not going to pick it all up. It's just too big. So we'll get 2 game mats. So it looks like this will give us about a 4x4, so I'll try and get further back and give a bigger shot of that, give you a still of that or something if I can. And there's also the Dropzone poster on the opposite side. So 2 different game mats. Supporting products, so some of the other stuff that you can get. He does do resin buildings, etc. They ain't cheap, but they are cool, and you can get accessories as well, which you could put on top or stick to your cardboard buildings even if you wanted, just to detail them out that wee bit more. So let's pull that aside a second and we'll have a wee quick look through and see what's in the rulebook. So what's in the rulebook? Let's have a wee quick flick. It's full colour by the looks of it. Nice glossy pages. Some stunning images. Considering this is one man's vision, one man's dream, it's impressive. It's very impressive. Lots of information in the rulebook. Lots of lovely ideas for how you could actually do your armies out. There's lots, it seems to be quite a few alternate colour schemes so far, at least for the PHR. I think I'll be sticking with the green because it's just so it reminds me of aliens when it comes to my UCM. It's a bit fast there. Really pretty looking rulebook. So that's pretty much everything that you can see in it. I'll get the buildings built, show you some images of them all built, and then that'll be us.
Apocalypse Gaming.